I'm Mark Dibelka. I'm working on a Master's of Divinity here. It's my second year, and hopefully it'll be my second of 3, but we'll see how that works out in the long run. CRCDS, if I might, the Hill, is just an amazing place for somebody who's got my particular belief structure. The idea that I'm free to explore the aspects of God without any preconceived notions is absolutely amazing. I looked at a couple of other schools at the same time, and of course being in Rochester helps out. It allows me to plot my weeks a little bit easier, as I am a commuting student. But there really was not the scope of instruction available at the other schools. They were much more structured into a particular denomination, leaving those of us who are part of a more fluid, liberal tradition sort of out in the cold, really. I'm a police lieutenant with the City of Rochester Police Department, 14 and a half years, been decorated 8 times, I've earned the Purple Heart, I've earned the Distinguished Service Award, second highest award the department can issue. And it's been a long and, for the most part, rewarding career. But I understand I'm getting older. The criminals aren't, and it's time for me to take the experience, the prophecy, if you will, of reaching out to people and helping them create a better world into another dimension of my life. The question is, what am I not doing in ministry as a student? I'm doing a little bit of everything. Most notably, I'm currently working with one of the local United Churches of Christ, and I'm starting down the ordination trail with them at this point. Fortunately, they trust me enough, and perhaps it's part of my scholarship here, that they've allowed me to become part of their ministerial team. I've got a meeting later this evening to help a young couple with premarital counseling. I'll be working with the grandchildren of one of the well-known church members on their baptism ceremony coming up in the next few weeks. I take the pulpit on a regular basis. I make visits to the homebound, to the elderly who are in extended care. There's not a whole heck of a lot that I'm not doing when it comes to what we consider the traditional ministry. And interestingly enough, the ministry is flowing over into other parts of my life that apparently have always been there. I just never noticed before. I never knew what to look for, and I'm starting to recognize that all along I've been carrying out these duties and just never had a name for them before. I saw that the community right around the hill here had asked for a little bit more interaction with the school itself. Being a member of student cabinet, I decided I would look at the recommendations and see what I could make happen. So we came up with a new service. Thanksgiving evening, several members of the cabinet came up here. We put on a fairly traditional holiday service, welcomed several people from the community, and it was wonderful seeing the way that they interacted with the school. And I have no doubt that they will be coming back for future such times when we open our doors for them. Oh, absolutely. I would say that the mission statement is right on when it comes to the school, specifically with the idea of prophecy. We might look at prophecy being the voices of old, the idea of perhaps somebody who's a bit more godly than we are, has a direct line. But I think in our modern context, prophecy has a lot more to do with right living, with maintaining moral and ethical standards, than perhaps with actually having a true face-to-face conversation with God. It's more listening with your heart and doing with your hands than it is an actual sit-down conversation. And I think that's where this school shines the brightest, at least on my educational path. I'm receiving the tools, or perhaps I should say I'm honing the tools that I've already got to be able to go out into the community and when something's wrong, point out something's wrong here. Now let's work together to come up with a solution. And that's not necessarily a bad thing when we're looking at our church communities either. Our church communities can certainly use a good dose of conscience from time to time. And I truly believe that the people that are graduating from the Hill here are going to be some of the brightest leaders you're going to see denominationally in any of the many groups that we might find up here. They're people who aren't afraid to speak their mind, and when they do speak their mind, are coming from a good, grounded position that allows them to articulate themselves and allows other people to see that they're not just blowing smoke. They really are speaking the modern gospel.
What might you say to...
Well, if it's just if a student is just looking to attend seminary in general, I would look at them and say, examine the reasons that you're doing this and make sure that it's what God is calling you to do. Although if they were going to be looking at attending CRCDS, I'd say, come on down and have lunch with me, because once you're here, I don't think you're going to want to leave. But actually, even then, I would say, listen to your heart, listen to what God is telling you to do. And if becoming a leader in prophetic ministry is where you're meant to be, then this is what you need to do. You need to come here and be one with us.